If you clicked on this, I'm going to give you a disclaimer straight away. This video is going to be a bit woo-woo. So if you're looking for some real practical tactics and strategies and techniques, click off this right now because this video is not about that. My name is Kamil. I'm a professional coach. I primarily work with impact-driven, high-performing entrepreneurs. And within the last month, my business generated $50,000 profit. And a really important part of this is that it was done in an easy, fun, and effortless way. It didn't feel like hard work. It wasn't a drain. I worked less than I ever have, but this was the result that was created, which is why I wanted to make this video. Because I've been coaching for 6 years. I've seen and worked with countless entrepreneurs. And something I've experienced and seen amongst so many of them is this constant grind, this feeling of having to push and force your way through everything. And for the first few years of my business, that's what it felt like. I was doing so much work. A lot of it was stuff that I just didn't really want to do. And it felt like a huge drain. I had to put in so much input to receive a small amount to come back. And that wasn't fun, right? To think of doing that for years and years was a scary thought, because it almost felt like I'd have to always be grinding and pushing and struggling in order to get anywhere. That's all I knew at that point, and that's okay. I have compassion for that version of me. But I realized over time what was really missing here. And I'm going to share this now, but before I do, I really want to create a caveat here. Things like mastering your craft, being great at what you do, understanding the business, learning the skills, that's always going to be a fundamental element of this. And none of this would have happened if I hadn't put in that groundwork anyway, right? If I hadn't become great at coaching, if I hadn't learned the business side, this wouldn't have happened. But there's an important element, which is what I'm about to share, that exponentially changes that growth curve. It makes things a lot more easy, a lot more fun, and a lot more lighter. And that is surrender. This is why I titled the video, How Surrender Blew Up My Business to 50K a month. And when I say surrender, what I'm really trying to point to is dropping the need to listen to the part of our mind that has to have everything figured out, that has to plan, that has to strategize, that has to turn everything into something that it thinks it knows. This is how things are going to happen. This is what it's going to look like. This is how I'm going to get to where I'm going to get to. You ever heard the saying, man plans and God laughs? Yeah, I've seen that happen many times in my own journey, where I would think, oh, this is the new strategy. This is the thing that I think is going to work. This is how I'm going to do it. This is what I need to do. This is all the actions I need to take. And yes, you can create some results that way, but it's very limiting. And the reason I say it's limiting is it's missing the point of surrender. The whole point of not needing to push anymore, of not needing to force anymore, of not needing to feel like you have to know exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to happen, is that it opens a door for something. And that door is wisdom. It's intuition. It's what people feel like when they're being guided by something higher, guided by the universe, guided by God, guided by source, whatever you want to call it. There's a guidance happening. And that guidance is blocked when we're always trying to will and force and push and plan and strategize our way through things. Here's an image that really comes to mind. Let's say that you are exploring a map. And on this map, you're trying to figure it out as you go. And you can only see so much, right? Through your current vision, you can only see so much of what's ahead of you. But there's another guide, and that guide is an eagle that is flying above. And that eagle has a whole different view, right? That eagle has the view of the entire map that you're exploring, but you can't see the eagle's view. And you can't get up there because you're here. And when you're trying to force and push your way through everything and overly figure everything out, you're missing out on what the eagle can see. Now, that eagle's communication is a bit quieter. It's a bit like a whisper. And when you're tuned in, you stop trying to figure it all out by yourself and just listen to what you're feeling drawn and guided to in the adventure. So the eagle is trying to communicate, but most people block it because they're caught up in their thinking, analytical, egoic mind, and this is what causes the problems. So when I talk about surrender, it's really about dropping the need for our little mind here to call all of the shots and to start to be more of a curious wanderer, someone who listens to their intuition, follows the nudges, follow what they feel drawn to, and don't actually have to have everything planned out. And for entrepreneurs, it's the opposite of what everyone talks about. It's the complete opposite, because it's all about having to be overly productive and do this and do that and have all these systems and plan everything strategically. And it turns it all on its head, because there's a way to be less productive, to be less systemized, but to create immense prosperity and abundance from a much more easeful, fun, and intuitive place. Because this is how I see it, one nudge or one direction from the eagle can lead to far more growth than a whole load of monumentous effort from our human thinking mind, because the eagle has a different view. So over the last few months, I've been dropping the need to plan, I've been dropping the need to strategize, I've been dropping the need to do everything that I used to do, huge amounts of action and effort, and I've simply been letting go and letting God, right? As the saying goes, let go and let God. And that is what's been happening for me to have such random, amazing encounters with people that I needed to meet, going to events and places that I needed to go to, working with the most amazing clients, and not having to actually put a lot of action for those things to happen, because it's a letting go, it's a surrender. And what's really required in that is a trust and a faith. Because if I'm scared of the unknown, and no one really is, it's only what we make up about the unknown, but if I'm scared of the unknown, then it's going to be harder to do that. So it requires a trust in that divine guidance. It requires a trust in the universe, a trust in God, and realizing that when you fully surrender and really understand that it's all going to be okay, you can suddenly tap into something so much deeper and be guided by something so much higher, and realize that that is your divine path into everything, not even everything that you want, more. It gives you more. And that's the beautiful thing about it. Now, as I said, it's important to learn the skills, right? It's important to build yourself as a business owner, as the master of your craft. But when you treat your path with that surrender and open yourself to be guided by something else, then that is when you start to experience more prosperity than you can ever imagine. Now try it for yourself. Don't just listen to me. Don't just think, these are just some words. Go and try it. Go and open yourself to surrender. And there's actually an amazing book that I read years ago, and I'm only really starting to live it now. So if what I'm sharing in this video really speaks to you, go and read this book. It's called The Surrender Experiments by Michael Singer. An amazing book that talks about a bit about what I've shared here, but so much more in depth. So go and read The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer, rewatch this video if something about it really spoke to you, and start to treat this as an experiment to live your life in that surrender and allow God to take the reins. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching this. Share more about what you got from this video in the comments. Tell me what reflections came up for you, and I'd love to know. In the description box, you'll also see a link if you want to book in some time to connect with me, get to know me a bit more. I can get to know you a bit more, and I'd love to hear more about your journey. Much love.